Lobster Magnet. Lobster's a 10, I told you grab it. Hey, welcome to Lobster Magnet's Review, the channel of the review. I'm here with my buddy Gorogregoro.
Hey.
And we are here to talk about My Hero Academia Season 2, Episode 18. This was definitely one of those, classic transitional episodes, if I've ever seen one. But the real question is, Greg, what do you think of the potential ramifications of the Hero Killer's legacy?
Everything moves so quickly in My Hero Academia. It's like it goes from like one plot thread to the next, it feels like, but they string together pretty nicely sometimes. Like this is turning out to be pretty interesting.
Yeah, and what do you think of the reprimands from the dog police chief?
I love the dog police chief. Stupid, yeah, of course they gotta have some stupid silly quirk for the chief of police like that. It reminds me so much of Garp from One Piece for some reason.
Well, probably because Garp used to wear the dog head before he was revealed. He was just that dumb guy who wore the dog mask until he was eventually revealed to be far more significant than just the dumb guy with the dog mask.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I can see that. It also sort of ties into kind of his original, My Hero Academia's first manga in Shonen Jump. It was called Omari I can't pronounce it, but basically his thing was about a magical shonen zoo where all the animals can turn into these were people, and they're cursed, and the girl has to maintain them. So I think that's the reason why occasionally in My Hero Academia you get these animal people show up.
Why does that remind me of the plot of what's Zootopia a little bit?
But the thing in the whatchamacallit in his other manga, yeah, Omogadoki Dokukususen. I'm sure I'm butchering it. And basically the premise is, there are humans in it, so it's not exactly like Zootopia. Hana Oi, a clumsy teenage girl, is known around her school as the name Clumsy Good for Nothing. Oh, where have we heard that from before?
Deku.
One day, she sees a flyer in the town for a zoo that needs workers. She appears there. She discovers the zoo is keeping strange things, which she realizes after seeing Sheena, the director of the infamous Omogadoki Zoo. He has been cursed by a ghost rabbit and given the body of a rabbit. In order to get his original body back, he has to show that he does care for animals by gathering every animal from the world and making his own popular zoo.
And that sounds like Noah's Ark. Gathering every type of animal to make his own zoo?
I guess, but then there's the verse aquarium arc, verse circus arc, and they're the animal-human things, and...
This is Togashi's other work?
No, not Togashi. Kohi Horikoshi. This is his first manga.
Oh, sorry. Horikoshi.
Don't get him confused.
Sorry.
Don't get him confused. But yeah, they're basically a lot of animal-human hybrid creatures. And I think that every time you see an animal-human hybrid in My Hero Academia, it's sort of I know there's a killer whale character who's quite literally from his original manga. He's a cameo role in My Hero Academia.
It's funny. I only know names of 3 mangakas right now.
Well, you should educate yourself and always understand the context of the people that you're reading of. But yeah, literally one of his professional heroes is a recycled design from Okomari Deskinen. It's the killer whale guy.
Okay. Well, I like the design. I think it was fun.
So, that's the sort of kind of fun little tidbit, if you want to go one step deeper. But Greg, what do you think of the morality of, the nature of heroism in the sense that what they did was illegal. They used their quirks, and poor Ida's learned his lesson where his arm is mutilated and he won't get it repaired until he returns to being a hero.
Yeah. It kind of reestablished the whole things quirks should only be used by the professionals, which is nice that they're reinforcing that aspect of the world, the continuity. And then Ida getting some numbness in his hand. I felt like that it could have been way worse. It should have been way worse, I think.
Well, he
Then
doesn't
like
really use his hands
he's just
much.
like, yeah, he just uses his legs. What is? He's like, I have something serious to tell you. I have a little bit of numbness in my hand. I can't scrunch it as well as I used to.
Well, it's supposed to be like the big heartfelt dramatic moment where it's like, my mistake has like cost me something that it's going to affect me physically permanently, which kind of lines up with like Deku like slowly mutilating his body as he uses One for All. And Greg, what did you think of the subtle? I spoiled this for you in my video, but what did you think of the subtle introduction and the hype and train and foreshadowing of One for All? No, All for One. God damn it, it's so fucking confusing. Like I love it that you did like
All
have, like,
for one.
one. Yes, All for One. What did you think of the hype train for that?
Mm. Yeah, I already knew about him. I imagine for other people it would be like, "Oh, that's cool."
How do you like seeing it built in context now that the myth is being built up?
Yeah, it's okay. It's just like I already
This
knew
is
all
a
this
big part of
information.
the mythology.
All this information was already privy to me. So
Yeah, that's true.
I was just kind of like, the build up. I was seeing a lot of like the foreshadowing of it and seeing like, oh, that's pretty cool.
And but like I guess the most important thing of this episode is like the spreading of the hero killer's legacy. The idea that his even though his physical body may be beaten, his ideals are far more poisonous and dangerous than anything hero he could kill.
Yeah, and the fact that his like dramatic Emperor's Hockey speech like went viral, like somehow that's also a huge factor. I think is why it's poisoned the minds of so many other villains.
And yeah, we got some nice foreshadowing in terms of like the new side characters that are going to be introduced joining Shigaraki, and of course, So what do you think about everyone's favorite man-child villain?
He's just like he's not very happy. He's like sad. He's like really sad that Stain taking all the credit, basically.
Yeah.
But they're still going to join his organization because they think that Stain was a part of the League of Villains anyway.
Well, think about that way though. That's just going to piss him off even more. That they're all joining because of Stain, this guy he hated and we thought was like complete bullshit. It's just going to piss him off that like his own work didn't even get acknowledged in terms of villainy, and stupid Stain is like the one who's like bringing people. Even though there was that great scene where like Gran Torino warns All Might that like you got to do something about this. The little ants are going to come and then there's going to be a torrent of them and you're not going to know what to do.
Yeah, well, it's funny. Like, it's funny. Like, basically, Stain's act of like getting beat up by children was more significant to the media than the Nobu's like wrecking all this like property damage and like destroying all these cars and probably killing a few people left and right. Isn't that kind of ironic?
Yeah, that is true. Well, because he had a better story. He had and he was more infamous in the sense that like the Nomus just appeared nowhere. But like Stain had already a history of like killing heroes. And they did say like ever since the appearance of All Might, this is like the person who's managed to kill the most heroes. Since the dawning of the quirk era of superhumans.
Yeah, that's true.
Which makes him a little bit more significant. And then his Emperor's Hockey, his ideology, your symbol of peace, it is more dangerous than anything, and it's going to infect it. And we get, like, a little preview of all the various little crazy characters.
I liked how Gran Torino didn't say, like, I almost felt like he wanted to say Emperor's Hockey. Like, instead of, like, it's almost like your ability, All Might, that charisma.
Yeah, that was funny. Because, like, the way they depicted it in the anime, and I guess it's, like, in the manga, it was, like, pretty similar. It did really feel like Emperor's Hockey, like, right out of One Piece. And, like, I guess, like, how else are you going to visualize, like, something that's so intangible, like an ideology? Like, just say charisma. As this incredible charisma shoots out so it infects the world. It is the ideology that will bring the world to its knees.
Yeah, what if there was like another there was another kind of power system on top of Quark's? Wouldn't that be kind of weird?
No, no, I don't think so.
You
I
don't
don't
think
think
you don't think
so.
it should get a little bit more complicated, just a tiny
I
bit?
think part of like in some ways I could see that, but I think a part of the charm is that about My Hero Academia is that it's like relatively low key in terms of like the level of powers that we're seeing. Is like every person has like some interesting weird super ability, and they can only use that thing, and they can't get new ones. They can and it's always a journey of self discovery. I think layering on hockey Emperor's hockey upon that would be dumb.
Okay.
It's like I don't want to see My Hero Academia become something like I think it has a really good power ceiling in the terms of like the most dramatic thing you'll see in My Hero Academia is like maybe a few buildings get knocked over, and it should not go any higher than that.
Yeah, okay. I was just
And then
thinking like how maybe someone of like a lesser quirk could beat someone of like a higher level quirk. Like some
well,
kind of
assumingly it would be like through some sort of really smart, clever thing that they would think of, and some sort of great strategy. Assumingly that Kohi or Koshi can like think of something that's like that good.
well like think of it for the instance of like how in One Piece they have Logia types fight Paramecia types. Like Logia
Hmm.
types are obviously the most superior, right?
Yeah.
So I imagine there must be some kind of hierarchy in that way in terms of quirks in the My Hero Academia universe.
Not yet. There hasn't been like one thing. Oh my God, you need blah 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 quirk. The most thing closest I think I've ever seen is like maybe in that first episode where it's like, oh, we need someone with a water quirk to put out these fires, or
No.
like sometimes like, oh, your quirk is better for search and rescue. Your quirk is better for combat. Like more like in the sense of that than like oh well this quirk is better against this quirk.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think it's like important that like the series kind of like keeps that sort of low key, lo-fi charm, because if Deku was like destroying planets and jumping into the air, I feel like a series would lose a lot of its charm. Like if there was anything on par with the fights you see in One Punch Man, I feel like that would kind of destroy the series.
Oh, where it's like destroy like many different buildings at the same time, or like destroy a whole city with their
Yeah,
foot.
exactly. Or like the fight where he has in the end against the alien Boros guy, and it's like this super lightning, incredible thing. They're flying to the moon and blasting, and it's the most incredible animated thing you've ever seen. It's a fun fight, but it's not a fight that feels applicable to the My Hero Academia universe.
Yeah, it's funny. I saw a random Super Eye Patch Wolf review of One Punch Man. Why you should watch One Punch Man? It's pretty interesting.
Oh, yeah, he does a great deconstruction of it, like everything. But I think I saw that video at some point. I've seen all of
Did
them.
it make you want to watch One Punch Man?
Well, I've seen One Punch Man.
Oh, you watched it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like one, some people you on a very loose thing you could compare it to My Hero Academia, but like One Punch Man is like a very deliberate, humorous deconstruction of like Sentai and superhero things, or very broad superhero things. While My Hero Academia is supposed to be like the most earnest, I love all this stuff kind of interpretation of those stories.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of interesting how they differ and how they're similar.
Yeah, like so, I
They
remember there was
both
like
take the theme of like the superhero trope, like the superhero organization, and how competitive it is, and how there's villains as well.
It's funny though, like in One Punch Man, the bureaucracy is an obstacle, while in My Hero Academia, it's like the foundation of what holds society. Because like the interesting question about like My Hero Academia is that like it's a post X-Men society, everyone's a mutant. So like there's no like prejudiced against mutants or quirk people because everyone has a quirk, so everyone just sort of accepts the superhuman society. But at the very least, the quirks are regulated, and generally, like you're not supposed to use them. You're not supposed to use them, out in public or for your own gain.
Yeah.
And the only way you're supposed to use them is if you're a hero, if you're officially licensed and you have permission to use your quirk. And that's what makes you a hero. If you you submit to the bureaucracy, and if you're a villain, you use your quirk with no, without any care of the consequences and the greater safety of large, the superhuman society.
Mm. Just like your quirk of screeching parrot's power.
My squeaking, screeching parrot power that you can hear right now, because I'm like.
You might have to be under quirk arrest now for you abusing your quirk for screeching parrots. That's illegal in the quirk universe.
It's so innocuous, my screeching parrot. He's just, screeches. He's, like, I'm like Birdman. I'm like Dark Shadow. I'm Takiyoki. I forget his name. Dark,
who controls the shadow bird?
Yeah, the shadow bird. And like, Captain Crunch is my Dark Shadow. He's my little doppelganger who follows me around everywhere and is like, has a little personality of his own. So Greg, what score would you give this episode?
It was pretty good. It kept me hyped for what's to come. I'd say somewhere between 8.5 maybe.
Yeah, I think it's a solid 8. It's definitely a good transitional arc, and I do love, how to see all the stuff of like Stain's legacy as like this infectious virus spreading around through the internet. That's like, they keep on trying to take it down, but the message is, can't, spread. You can't stop it, man, because it's like so infectious. These ideas are infectious.
Yeah, I agree. It was a very infectious episode.
Well, but now, like, before we wrap this up, Scott's ready for Promised Neverland. There is a big danger that we saw in this episode. Well, one question, Greg. Did you like seeing how everyone's other internship is working out? Did you like the beautician scene and poor Momomo Yazuro's like...
I am kind of interested now to see the other internships more in detail. Like, maybe this filler episode won't be so bad because we get to see more of the internships.
True. That's like the gamble. Like, and you don't really get to see much of the internships in the manga. They just sort of mention them in passing. So yeah, and that's the other thing I wanted to bring up is the fact that like we're getting a filler episode. Yay, anime original, but like it's not like the worst thing you could have for a filler episode just to like, see the other, class 1A characters like go on their internships. And there's definitely interesting stories you can mine from that.
Yeah. And, we kind of want to see more stories from that, honestly, too.
Well, so, the interesting question is, like, comparing it to, like, one, the fighting of the dead, the thing of the dead, the training of the dead.
That felt like a big waste of time to me, honestly.
While seeing the internship is, like, something you actually are interested in seeing.
Yeah, because, like, it involves, like, the character progression of, like, how... they experience their internships, how they, level up as characters and level up their usage of powers and the field or whatnot, whatever.
Get real field training. So, it'll be interesting to see if My Hero Academia can actually pull off a good filler episode. It was really interesting to see how they, like, braced you. Or who knows, maybe it's just an excuse to give people more Frog Girl stuff so they can, like, make memes of it. There is not enough Tsuya-chan. We are going to rectify this with this anime original episode, and we don't want to burn out of manga material so quickly.
Yeah.
Because, like, what happens after this is, like, there's, like, a brief scene where they're, like, all back in class, and they're, like, sharing stories about their internships. So, you guess you could say this is just going to be an expansion of that.
Yeah, okay.
So, it'll be interesting. Hopefully My Hero Academia, like, doesn't fall too much into dumb filler territory. It's been a very... good balance of just following the manga, and if we get too much High School of the Dead or Training of the Dead, that would obviously like deteriorate the series. All right, so Greg, what should we shill for this episode?
How about something like Doggy Treats, so the police commissioner can be happy after breaking the rules of quirks?
Sure. This is Doggy Treats. Yeah, go get your Doggy Treats. Woo! Appease crime and take a bite out of crime with these incredible dog biscuit treats. That's the only way to appease the commissioner of the board, the police chief who works really hard. He has a shitty quirk of being a dog man, but the only thing that makes him happy is being, when he gets home from a hard day of dealing with violent crimes and misdemeanors, is getting a little scratch on his head from his doggy wife, assuming he has a doggy wife. Maybe it's someone, regular human girl, and also getting doggy treats. That is what makes him happy. So make Dog Chief happy. by buying some Doggy Treats, and then, you know, you can get them in the Amazon affiliate link down below, or buy something you actually want. But, yeah. Doggy
Overall,
Treats
great
above,
episode.
down below.
And I agree with everything that Lobster said about it.
Yep, this was definitely a good, good moving things along My Hero Academia. Obviously, you can't have them all be 10 out of 10s, but, you know, we got some great stuff with the Hero Killer. And, you know, it's always interesting to see the sort of, like, ideology of, like, what makes a great villain. And, you know, Shigaraki's arc of slowly becoming a great villain because, you know, he's still a terrible villain.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens with Shigaraki.
It's kind of funny, though. He's got that like, dapper, like, you know, dark portal guy who, like, feels like, you know, he's kind of cooler than Shigaraki, but he's, like, for some reason, he's, like, bitch.
Yeah, he's just like he's like the super useful henchman who doesn't get enough credit.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, and he always, like, dresses better than Shigaraki, and you're kind of, like, wondering, like, why isn't this guy, like, head of the show? Why is he, like, just playing second fiddle to Shigaraki? Like,
he doesn't have a cool, like, motion quirk. Like, he doesn't do this.
He doesn't do that. He doesn't have, like, that quirk serial killer thing, right?
Yeah.
I guess you could argue that he doesn't have that. I don't know. I just think he's a dapper fellow, and I feel like he's forced to play second fiddle for, like, everyone's favorite man-child. And, you know, there should be an arc about, like, you know, him, like, stepping up and, like, you know, up in his game because, like, you know, you could teleport people, man. You shouldn't be second fiddle.
Yeah, it's a really useful ability.
Alright, so thank you for watching this video. Like, comment, subscribe. You know I like your comments. Give me them. I eat them. Every time I go back to my computer, I need a new comment. It validates me because I read everything because I'm an obsessive son of a bitch. So keep feeding me those comments. And remember, lobsters and tennis, but don't you grab it. Lobsters made of